Hi, beautiful souls. This video is a little different than a practice video, so I'm just going to be here and I'm going to be sharing my experience that I had this morning, which was very deep and very profound. But last night, or I guess more so this morning, when I was in the dream world, when I was in the dream realms, I had an experience where I was very angry. I was angry through the whole experience of the dream. And it was an experience where I was with a father energy, and I saw how much my inner child, my present self, my teenage self, really needed to heal that part of me. So during the dream experience, all of life is around us and it's waking up, so you might hear birds in the background. But during this dream experience, I could feel how I wasn't being seen, I wasn't being believed, I wasn't allowed to speak my truth in that moment. And in the dream, I was just beating on the chest of my father figure in the dream, the father energy. And even though I could feel and I could see myself being present me in this body, the energy that came up was that of my inner child. She felt so small and so unheard and unseen. And I woke up, even though I was in the dream and I was angry in the dream, I woke up so furious and so sad for her. And I didn't want to carry that energy with me throughout the day, because I don't want to stay stagnant in any energy. It's great to feel the energies, to feel the emotions, to be present with them, but then also to allow them to be let go. So I decided to journal my experience, the dream itself, and then all the messages that I saw and felt during that experience. And then I made a cup of cacao because I knew that would uplift my heart and make me feel a little bit better and make me align with the energy of love rather than fear and anger. And then I had a meditation with myself. And I went into my void, into my vortex. And as I was journaling, I could feel the emotions rise up. So I closed my eyes and I allowed myself to go into my vortex, into my void. And I called in my inner child, the little girl inside of me. And my teenage self also presented herself as well in this experience of being in my vortex. And I cried with them, I witnessed them, I spoke to them, and me and the little girl, we've done a lot of work together, so she feels safe with me now. She knows that I've got her back. She knows that whatever we go through, we're gonna be okay. So she was able to cheer up and be in her lights very quickly. I saw her smile, we held hands, I could see the glow around her, that she was safe and that she was whole in her time and experience. And I could feel lingering energy still. I could still feel anger, I could still feel sadness. So I directed my energy and my focus to my teenage self. And she was still so hurt. And I allowed her to speak. I witnessed her. I listened to her. And there was so much that she had to say. And I apologized to her. I apologized to myself. Apologized to little me as well. And I promised her that I was going to give more attention, more focus to her needs going forward. And again, we all cried together. It was a beautiful experience. And the awareness that I had with speaking to teenage me was that it was time for me to shift focus to allow her to come into her light, to allow her to express her authentic self. And I do a lot of inner child work. I allow myself to be childlike so much in my life. But I have not allowed myself to focus on my teenage self. And she comes up a lot with her haughtiness, with her attitude, with her discouragement on family dynamics and world dynamics and the person that I think that I should be and who I want to be. So we made a promise, all four of us. So that's my little me, my teenage me, my present me, and my higher self. We all sat together in a circle, and it was the three of us, and then my higher self kind of above and behind us, holding all of us together. And I promised from this point forward that it was going to be her time to shine, that she was going to be allowed to create, to be her authentic self, and to do whatever she was needing to do that she wasn't allowed to do when it was her time to exist at her age. So with that, I felt the loop click. I felt the completion of a cycle. I could see my own light and my own glow. I could see the light and glow of my inner child, my little me. And I could see and feel the lights of my teenage me, which I had never felt before. And it was so beautiful to see all of our energies come together and be completed in a cycle. And again, I could feel my higher self kind of above and behind me, just watching over the experience. And it was so beautiful and it was so profound. And I could feel a huge quantum shift inside of me of something, of this experience happening, but also something so big being let go. And I felt myself shatter, and I felt myself break down. And it was so beautiful to allow her, my teenage self, to have this opportunity to shine, to be seen, to be heard, to be witnessed, and the allowance of her to do what she is wanting to do. So I don't know what that looks like right now in this moment. I don't know what the future holds for all of us, but she is going to create such beautiful things moving forward. And I'm so excited for her to have this opportunity to just have free reign and the freedom to create whatever it is that she wants to create. And I wanted to share that experience because it was not only so profound, but it was such a huge awareness and genuinely life-changing. And I've had several experiences where I've seen into my future. I've seen and held myself in different ways, whether it was my inner child or my higher self or a different energy that I'm working with. And it's great to journal. It's great to release things from the mind. But when it comes to embodying an experience, that is where the real work happens. And embodiment just means that it's tangible, that you've had it, that something inside has shifted, that there's an action that has happened to rewire, undo, realign the self in a major way. And that is what I had this morning on this beautiful February. And I'm going to link a video below after this video is done. And it's not my video, it's also not an advertisement, but it was a video that I follow, a YouTube channel that I follow. And it came up as soon as I came out of this meditation. And it talks about kind of all of this in a different extent. And it talks about Neptune and its energy, and how these energies, these experiences may be coming up for maybe you as well in the coming months. So I want to share that with you if it aligns with you to watch it. Again, it's not an advertisement, but it was confirmation of what I was needing to hear after having that embodiment of an experience. And again, it's so important to have all these dynamic tools and dynamic experiences to tie a lesson or an affirmation or a teaching or a message together. So again, I had the dream realm experience, which kind of unlocked the wound for me. And then I allowed myself to journal. I allowed myself to have a cup of cacao to further articulate the experience, to open up the energy even bigger with a cup of cacao. And then I went into a meditation with myself to expand on that concept. So it was many things that I did just this morning within the last hour and a half to complete this cycle. And everyone's experience is different. Everyone's tools are different and how they use them. But I wanted to share this experience because, again, it was very profound for me. I can't express that enough. But it shifted, it broke down. It was a breakthrough moment for me. And I forgave myself. I apologized to myself. And I know sometimes we can think, why do I need to apologize to myself? Why do I need to forgive myself when it was X, Y, and Z's experience that allowed me to have that emotion? But it is important to forgive ourselves. It's important to apologize to ourselves, to little me, to teenage me, to present me, to higher self who already forgives everything. But it's okay. Everything is okay after we forgive ourselves, after we apologize to ourselves, because we're doing so much energetically when we say those words. And for myself, part of my practice, that whole entire meditation was out loud. I spoke to myself out loud. I saw everything very vividly within my third eye. And that's part of my own practice, is speaking out loud, not to get trapped in my mind or in my head and just allow things to happen inside the mind, but to actually verbally process it out loud as it's happening. And that's a technique that I use that works really well for me in my practice. Maybe that's something that you can start practicing with for yourself. And it doesn't have to be around people. I was in the comfort and safety of my own home. But whenever you're processing something, whenever you're having an experience, especially if you understand that you are a dynamic being of the inner child, the teenage self, the higher self, and the present self, all of them need to be on the same page. And that is where that click of the loop happened, is that we were all on the same page. We were all being witnessed. We were all being listened to and heard. And again, I saw my inner child. She was like, cool, we got this. I trust you. We're safe. But I needed that reassurance. She needed that reassurance. My teenage self needed that reassurance that everything was okay. And she needed to hear those words out loud in order for her to integrate and process them. So once I said that out loud, I felt the dense cloud lift off of her. I felt her being able to breathe. I felt her remove shackles that I didn't even know were still abound around her. And after that was broken, boom, that loop clicked. We were all free, and we were all smiling and holding each other and happy, and we were all able to be within our own lights. So if that's something that you haven't practiced with, is either inner child work or teenage work, something that we don't really talk about too much when it comes to spiritual healing, is that teenage self who is very rebellious, who is very adamant about going in a different direction off the path. She is so important. They are so important. And, you know, we have wounds when it comes to our childhood, but there's also a lot of things that we weren't allowed to do as a teenager. We had that rebellious stage that everyone goes through to whatever degree it was, but there were things that were left unsatisfied, unfulfilled as a teenager. And she needs to reawaken. They need to reawaken, and they need to have the allowance to do whatever they need to do whenever they're needing to do it. So that is my little spiel. That is my little awareness happening of today. And again, I'm going to link that video below. I'm not going to talk too much about it. I want you to watch it for yourself. But it aligns with what I just said. It aligns with the energies that are coming for the next few months. And yeah, thank you guys so much for allowing me to share that with you all. I love connecting with you. And I will see you next time. Peace.